Hi, welcome to the video Spring Boot Security Password Expiration Example with me Nam Amin from codejava.net. In this video, you will learn how to implement the password expiration feature for an existing Spring Boot application with the following details. Users must change password after 30 days since the last time they changed their password, and the application will request the users to change password whenever password expires, including upon successful login, and the new password must be different than the old password. We will be working on the Java project based on this technologies: Spring Boot web application, Spring Data JPA and Hibernate for the data access layer, Spring Security for authentication and authorization, Thymeleaf as template engine, Bootstrap and HTML5 for responsive user interface, and MySQL database. In this video, I'm using the following software programs: Java Development Kit JDK, Spring Tools Free IDE, SDS, MySQL Community Server, and MySQL Workbench. You can use the latest versions of these software programs. Let me show you an existing Java Spring Boot project on my computer in Spring Tools Free IDE. As you can see, the Shopme front-end project here, and in the application configuration file, it is configured to be running with embedded Tomcat server listening on port 80 with the context path is /shopme here. Now let me start this Spring Boot application, and I will show you the login function, which is already implemented in this project. So I suppose that you have an existing Spring Boot project with the login function already implemented using Spring Security. Okay, the application has started here, and let me use Chrome browser to access the application homepage. HTTP localhost/shopme here. You see, this is the homepage of the application, and as a customer, I can log in here, enter email and password. You see, I am in to the application, and this is my user details, customer details here. And in the next few minutes, I will show you how to implement the password expiration for this Spring Boot application. And this is the workflow of the password expiration feature. When a user is making a request to the application, it will check if the password is expired or not. If not, continue the workflow normally. If the user's password is expired, the change password page gets displayed, requiring the user to change to new password. And when the user submits the change password form, it will check if the old password is correct or not. If the old password is incorrect, it will display an error message. And if the old password is correct, it will check if the old password is different than the new one. If not, display an error message. Or if the old password is different than the new one, the application will log the user out and then display the login page, requiring the user to log in again with the new password. So in the next few minutes, I will show you how to write code to implement this password expiration workflow. And here are the key tasks which we need to perform in order to implement the password expiration feature. First, we need to update the database table and entity class, and then update the business or service class, and code the password expiration filter, and code the password controller, and code the change password page. As you can see in the application configuration file, it is configured to use the database ShopMeDB here, and this is my SQL Workbench, and I'm connecting to the Shopme database here, and this is a table, customers table, that stores the information about the users here. And in order to implement the password expiration feature, we need to add a new column to store the date and time of the last time the user changed their password. So we can based on that column to identify if the user password is expired or not. So right click and alter table, and we need to add a new column here. The name of the column is password change time here, and the data type is date and time, date time here, and by default the default value is no, and click apply, finish, and let me select all rows from this table. Here you can see there are some customers, users in this application here, and you can see the new column password change time here. And let me update the select SQL statement to select only the ID, email, and password change time. And execute this statement again, and you can see now we have the only information we need to check here: ID, email, and password change time. And in the project, we need to update the entity class customer here. This class maps to the customers table in the database here, and we need to declare new field here, private date from java.ut package, password change time, and specify the column name is password underscore change underscore time, and also generate getter and setter for that field here. Okay, and it's better to stop the application now because we are going to write a lot of code, make a lot of changes to the project. Next, we need to implement a new method in this entity class to check if the customer's password is expired or not. So write a new method here, public boolean is password expire, and we declare a constant for the password expiration time of type long, password expiration time. Say we need the password expiration time is 30 days. That means after 30 days since the last password change, the user must change his password. We need to use the L to indicate this is a long value. 30 days multiplied by 24 hours in a day, and multiply by 60 minutes per hour, and multiply by 60 seconds per minute, and multiply by 1000 milliseconds in a second. So this is the value of time, 30 days in milliseconds. And then in this method we check if the password change time is no, then we return false for this method. Else we check we get the current time in millisecond. Current time equal system dot current time in millis. Here this is the current time in milliseconds, and this is last password change time in milliseconds equal to this password change time get time. The method get time returns the time in milliseconds, and then we return if the current time is greater than the last password change time plus the password expiration time. If this condition evaluates to true, that means the customer's password has expired, else it not expired. Next, we need to create a new filter to intercept every request to the application to check if the user's password is expired or not. So I create a new filter class under this package password expiration filter, and have this class implements the filters interface filter from Java dot service package here, and use the annotation component. So Spring Framework will be able to load this filter, and we need to implement the do filter method here. And for now, we just call chain do filter to continue the filter chain. And here I print the request URL http submit request http request equal to the request from the method argument here, cast to http submit request, and get the URL equal http request get request URL here to string, and just print the request URL. Password expiration filter for testing purpose. Initial testing first, request URL, and then I will show you how to write code to check the user's password expiration here. Now let me start this Spring Boot application to test this filter class first. Okay, go to the home page of this application. Okay, home page here, and in the console view you can see it prints many URLs here for the images, for the main URL of the homepage here, and followed by the URLs for the images. That means many execution of this do filter method unnecessarily. So we need to filter out the request for the resources images here. So we need to add a check here to filter out request URL and with .png and we continue the filter chain, and we don't process the logic afterward. Here we call chain do filter and return from the method, or if the request URL ends with JPG image or static resources like JavaScript and CSS, .css and .js. Okay, and save the change and test again. And we expect that for each request, this code in the do filter method executed only once. Sorry, we need to start the application again. Okay, let's refresh the home page here. And you can see in the console view now, there's only one password expiration filter printed here. That means it already filters out the request for the static resources like the images, CSS or JavaScript, and then the code in the do filter executed only once here. Let me check view category. Here you see category desktop computers, view a specific product. Here you see a specific product. Yeah, okay, that's very good for the initial testing. Next, we need to write the code to get an authentication object that represents the authenticated user from the current security context. So, authentication. We get an authentication object from the security context holder from Spring Framework. Yeah, get context, get authentication. This will return an authentication object, not null, in case the user already logged in into the application. So I check object principal equal no. Yeah, if authentication is not null, that means the user has logged in. Principal equal authentication. Get principal. Yeah. And then we need to check if principal is not null and it is an instance of the user detail class, instance of customer user details. In this project, I already create this customer user details class that implements the user details class as defined by Spring Security here to represent the user details object of the currently logged in user. And you can see in this customer user details class is wraps an instance of the entity class customer here. So here, if the principal object is not known and it is an instance of customer user details, we can get the customer user details object from the principal user details equal principal here, and add the cast to the type customer user details here. In the Spring Security Confusion class, you can see I use the user details service class here. We have custom user details service class here, and in this load user by username method, it returns the customer user details object upon successful login here. And from the user details object here, we can get the customer object, customer equal user details, get customer here. As you can see in the user details class, I wrote a getter method, a get customer here that returns the customer object, represents the currently logged in customer. And here we can check if the customer's password is expired or not. If customer is password expired here, then we print the information of the customer. For example, customer get full name plus password expired. Else we will print the customer full name, password not expired. And here I print the password change time of this customer. Last time password changed. Yeah, customer get password change time here. Sorry. And I also print the current date and time. Current time. A new date object. And in case the password is not expired, we continue the filter chain. So copy this code, okay. Else, if the customer has not logged in, we don't check the password is expired. We continue the filter chain here. Okay, save the changes and let's update the customer ID 21 with the email name Java programmer here. So I update the select SQL statement where ID equal 21 in update statement, update customer set password change time to a specific value where the ID equal to 21 here. And I copy the date and time value from another table. Here, products. Here. Okay, and I change the time to 2020 November the 1st. And with this time, the password is not expired because today is, as you can see, today is November the 8, and the last password change time is November the 1st, just a week since the last password change time. Okay, now I execute this SQL statement. Okay, successful, and select this customer, and you can see the password change time value is the 1st November 2020 here. And okay, and now let refresh the application and log in. Go to the home page, and in the console view you see it just prints the URL because the customer has not logged in yet. And now let me try to log in. Java programmer. Okay, I have logged in successfully, and in the console view you can see it prints the customer full name Nam Ha Minh, password not expire, because we set the password expiration time is 30 days, and you can see from the last time password change is the 1st November and today is the 8th November, just a week. So it has not been expired. Now let me update the SQL statement to set the password change time here back to October the 1st. Execute update and select again. You see now the last password change time is the 1st October 2020, more than 1 month ago, more than 30 days. So this time it will be expired. Now let me click to the home page. The filter will be executed, not expire. We need to log in again. Yeah. Yeah, we got a blank page because in the filter we don't, in the if block here we don't write any code to redirect the user to any page. So we see the blank page here, and in the console view you can see it prints the customer Nam Ha Minh password expire here, and the last time password changed is the 1st October, and but today is 8th November. More than 30 days has been passed, so the user's password is already expired. As you can see in the workflow, when the customer's password is expired, the change password page gets a display requiring the user to change the password. So in the password expiration filter, when the customer password is expired here, we redirect the user to the change password page. So I get the HTTP response object. In the do filter method, we have a reference to service response here. HTTP service response. HTTP response equal to response, and we need to cast this object to type of HTTP service response, and let the context path construct the direct URL. The direct URL equal to HTTP request get context path and concatenated with slash change underscore password. This is the URI of the change password paste, and then we redirect the user response send redirect to the redirect URL here. And now we need to code a Spring MVC controller class with the handler method to handle this URI. So I create a new controller class here. Password controller, and this class should be annotated with the controller annotation. And the first handler method for HTTP GET request change underscore password. So change password paste, and it returns the logical view name change underscore password. And then we need to code the view paste HTML paste for the change password paste. So I copy the code of the login paste here, copy and paste here. Okay, and change the name to change underscore password dot html here. Change password dot html here. And now I update the code of this page to display the change password form. Okay, delete all, and the heading of the page is change the expire password. And we have a form here with the action is here I use Thymeleaf syntax for the URL. Action is change underscore password with the method is HTTP post here. And inside a form is the div section here. And I use the Bootstrap class CSS class border. And inside I have div section here that shows the change password form, with the first input element is for the old password. Input type equal password. Name is old password. And user CS class from Bootstrap is form dash control. And the placeholder is old password. And this field is require and autofocus. Okay, and in the controller class I need to set the page title. This is specific to my project. In your project you may not need to set the page title like this. Model here, model attribute page title is change the expire password. Okay, save the changes. Sorry. Okay, now let me try to log in with the user name Java programmer in the database. As you can see here, this user password is already expired. Here, as you can see, and log in with the wrong password, and you can see the error message. Now I try to log in with the correct password. We got an error. Let's see what is in the. You can see the error is localhost redirected you too many times, too many redirects. That means the password expiration filter, do filter method gets called repeatedly. So in this URL check, we need to also exclude the URL of the change password form request URL and with slash change underscore password. Then we return. Okay, save the change and test again. Now I log in. Java programmer. And you can see after I have logged in successfully, I am redirected to the change password paste here. And you can see the first field for the old password here. And in the console view, you can see it prints customer name having password expire. Now let me stop this application, and I will try to log in with another customer. For example, I execute this SQL statement here, and I will log in as the customer with this email ID 19 here, whose password change time is no. That means password is not expired. So here I log in again with another user. Sorry, I need to restart the application. Okay, let me log in again with another customer with this email. You see, I have logged in successfully, and I can see the home page with categories and products normally. And in the console view, it prints customer Vũ Xuân Hồng password not expired. Correct, right? So only the user with the email number programmer has the password expire. So I log out here and try to log in again with this email. And you can see I am redirected to the change or expire password. And go back to the change password page and complete the change password form with 3 password fields. The first one is for the old password. The second one is for the new password. Here, Thai password name is new password, and I need to make the form a little bit narrower, with the max width is about 360 pixel, and center the form with the attribute margin 0 auto, and specify the color for the border dash primary, rounded border with padding 3. Okay, and the second password is for the new password, which you also require. Refresh, and you can see old password and new password here. And the last password field is to confirm the new password. Type password, name is confirm password. Placeholder is confirm new password. Also require. You see, so in this form, the user must enter old password, new password, and confirm the new password. And we need to have the submit button. Input type equal submit value is a caption of the button is change password with the CSS class of Bootstrap is btn for button, btn primary, and center the button in the form with the Bootstrap CSS class text dash center. Okay, you see the change password button here. Try to click and you can see we must enter the value for all the 3 password fields. Okay, so far so good for this form. Change password form. And we need to write some little JavaScript to validate the new password and confirm password must be the same. So here I write some JavaScript code here. Script function. Function name is check password match field confirm password. And we call this method on the event of the confirm new password field here. On input, call the method check password match, passing the field itself to the argument of the method check password match here. And we need to have the ID of the new password field here. ID equal to new password. Okay, and here we check if field confirm password not value is not equal to the value of the new password field. Here I use the query. Select the element with the ID new password and get the value. Và here, if the two password new password fields do not match, we display a validation error message for the field confirm password says custom validity. This is a method available since HTML5. Password new password do not match, else if the two password field for the new password equal, we don't show the validation error message, so set the custom validity to empty here. That's it for the validation of the new password match. Okay, now let's test the form. As you can see, because we use the filter to intercept every request to the application. So here, if I try to get out of this page by click the home page, I always be redirected to the change password page here. If I click help here, you see, because the password expiration filter is working, redirected the user to the change password page until the user actually has already changed the password. Now I enter the old password something here and enter the new password something here and click change password. You can see we got the validation error. New passwords do not match. Now I enter the two new password are the same and submit the form. Okay, you see it submits the form, but the handler method for this URL has not been implemented yet, so we got this error. And now we implement the handler method for the submission of the changed password form here in the password controller class here. So this handle method we handle the HTTP post request for the same URL change underscore password here because the action of the form, as you can see here, is change underscore password here. Public string process change password. We need to have some parameters for the HTTP service request and response request and HTTP service response and Spring Framework model and an authentication object that represents the logged in user. So we use this annotation authentication principle. Yeah, authentication. So we can get the user details object that represents the authenticated user. Authentication here. Just return empty string for now. And we get a customer user details object from the authentication object here. Get principal and cast the returned object to the type of the customer user details here. And then we get the customer object from this user details class. Customer equal user details get customer, and we read the values of the old password and new password from the form. String old password equal request add parameter old password and get a new password. And we need to check if the old password is correct or not. If not, here we need to display the error message in the change password page here. So we need to have reference to the password encoder used by this application. As you can see in the security confusion class, we use the password encoder here, bcrypt password encoder here, so we can uh, ask Spring Framework to inject an instance of that password encoder into this controller class using the auto while annotation here, private password encoder. Password encoder. And because the password in the database is encrypted using um, bcrypt algorithm, so we need to use this password encoder here to check if the our password is correct or not. So here we check if password encoder matches here our password from the request here with the encoded value from the customer object, customer get password here. And if it returns false, then we serve an error message return to the change password form paste change underscore password. And we add attribute for the page title here, and also for error message here. Message is your old password is incorrect, and in the change password form here, we need to have a div section to display the message here, and this div section is displayed only if the value of the message is not known, and we display a value of the message variable here inside a paragraph with the CS class is text dash dagger, and specify the class for this div section with the margin 3. Okay, and now let's test this case. Is the old password is incorrect and an error message is displayed in the change password page. Okay, save the changes. Okay, and now I try to log in with this email. Okay, I am asked to change my password, and this time I enter old password is not correct, and new password, and click change password. And you see I got error. The old password is incorrect here. Perfect, right? And in case the old password is correct, but the old password is equal, same as the new password, we should also display the error message. So the second check here, if the old password equals to the new password here, then we should display the error message. The message is your new password must be different than the old one. And now let's test this case. Okay, go to the home page, login, and I enter correct password. Okay, and I am asked to change my password because uh, it is already expired. And this time I enter the correct old password, but the new password is the same as the old password. And click change password. And you see I got the error. The new password must be different than the old one. Perfect, right? And in case the old password is correct, old password is different than the new password, the application needs to update the new password and log the user out and show the login page, requiring the user to log in again with a new password. Okay, here in the controller class, we need to have a reference to the customer services class. Auto Y private customer services. This is a business class for the user. Customer service. And here, in case the old password is correct and the new password is different than the old password, we update the new password. So we call customer service. Here, update password with some parameters. Whole password. Sorry, new password. New password. The customer object here, so we can proceed the customer details into the database and the password encoder to encode the password encoder and click here to create this method. Here we need to encode the new password using the provided password encoder. String encoded password equal password encoder encode new password here. And then we set the customer password to the encoded password. And when the customer password has changed, we need to set the password change time to the current date and time here. And then call the customer repository here to update the customer, save customer. That's it. And finally, in the controller class here, we redirect the user to the login page with a message. So we return to the logic of your name login, which is a login page here. Login page here, and here I copy the code to display the message here. Okay. And in the controller class, I set the return login here. Set the page title and login again. And the message is you have changed the password successfully. Please log in again. That's it. And save all the changes. And now we are ready to test to run the final test of the password expiration functionality. Go to the home page, login here. Here I am asked to change my password. somehow I want to quit this page by click the home page or any other page, it still asks me to change the password. Here you see. Okay, I enter the correct old password and a new password which is different than the old one, and confirm new password and click change the password. And you see it displays the login page with the message you have changed the password successfully. Please log in again. And let's check the database here. Select execute this SQL select statement, and you can see for this customer the password change time has been updated to the current date and time, November the 8th, 9 p.m. here. And but if you click the home page here, you can see I'm still logged into the application because I forgot to write the code to log the user out. So here we can log out the user using this statement from the HTTP request object. We can call logout here, and this throws an exception. So we add throws declaration here. Okay. Okay, let me test again. Now I will update this SQL statement. So the password of this customer is expire, and as you can see, the password change time is more than 30 days ago. Yeah, and let me log in again. Log in. Okay, I'm asked to change my password, and I enter old password and new password. Let me before clicking the submit button here, let me select the ID, email, password, and password change time of this customer ID 21 here, so you can see the password here, the password, current password here. Okay, and now click change password, and you see the password has been changed and I need to log in again. Let me check the database, and you can see password has been changed and password change time here, and click the home page, and you see I'm actually logged out from the application. That means the statement request.logout here has been executed successfully to log the user out of the application. And now I'm logging again with the new password, and it should not ask me to change my password again. And you can see I'm able to browse the application, see a category, see a product, and I don't have to change password. And you can see in the console view it prints the password not expire because the last time I changed password is some moment ago. So far you have learned how to implement the password expiration functionality in a Spring Boot application. I hope you found this video as a good reference to implement your own password expiration functionality. Please help me to grow this channel by clicking the subscribe button and then like, comment, and share this video. Thanks for watching.